Hello, Dr. Marty.
Hi. Hi, how are you? Good morning.
Fine, Dr. Marty. Good
Thank
evening and
you.
good afternoon.
Thank you very much to see you again.
Yeah, start. Dr. Inda sir. Dr. Shyam Singh Inda.
Sorry?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please start. Please start.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good evening to all. With all great joy and immense pleasure, I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all presented here for today's fifth international webinar on assuring the quality of higher education, the case of AQU, Catalonia, organized by NAAC, Bangalore. To start with the program, may I request Dr. B.S. Ponmudaraj, Advisor NAAC, to welcome all the participants and the guest speakers for today's international webinar. Dr. BSP, sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Shyam Singh Inda, Assistant Advisor NAC, part of the international team. So, respected and dear participants, live on YouTube, on Twitter and Facebook, and through our platform Cisco WebEx. This is the fifth NAC International Webinar Series. As you may be aware, we are on the 26th year of its operation, National Assessment and Accreditation Council at Bangalore, Karnataka, India. As part of the Ministry of Education, University Grants Commission, Government of India, you may be aware that we are assessing institutions of higher education, higher learning in India. And we have been in the international sector of learning on mutual learnings, whatever is happening during COVID, post-COVID, little pre-COVID period. So this is the first in the webinar series. We have Dr. Marty with us. One of our coordinators, Dr. Devendra Kauda, will introduce him. And before that, we wanted to tell you why we are doing this. As I mentioned earlier, we wanted to know across the globe, quality assurance agencies during the pandemic, what's happening to on-site visits or virtual visits, on teaching, learning, on research. We are trying to see how quality assurance agencies and their organizations are functioning. In particular, in general, we wanted to learn more about the agency, their structures, their assessment accreditation, quality assurance procedures, processes, and little on higher education scenario. What is the higher education scenario in Spain, Catalunya, Morocco, or whatever in Russia? So we are inviting people of INQUA board members, APQN board members, network board members, ENQA, NQAHA, all board members, as well as each agency heads and people who can then nominate. We wanted to learn. And all our programs are absolutely free of cost, and we give all type of connectivity, and we try entertain people to ask more questions for learning. Please raise your hands through chat as well as through Q&A, logical hands. And Marty with us for this few words. Thank you and welcome one and all for this wonderful fifth NAC International Webinar Series. And I welcome the chief guest, Dr. Marty, Director Catalunya from AQU. Thank you. Thank you one and all. On behalf of Professor S.C. Sharma ji, our Director NAC, a special welcome to each and every one of you. Namaskar.
Oh, thank you very much, sir, for a warm welcome address that has made the room and participant quotient comfortable. Thank you once again, sir. Moving ahead with the program, may I now humbly request Professor S.C. Sharma ji, Director NAC, to please deliver the opening remarks. Professor S.C. Sharma ji, Director NAC, please.
Well, my name is Professor S.C. Sharma. I am the Director, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, Bangalore. Today, we have Dr. Marty Casadias from Barcelona, Catalunya, and the chief guest and main speakers of today's topic is assuring the quality assurance of higher education, which is a very important topic. It is on the case of AQU Catalonia. In fact, the NAAC, we have adopted revised accreditation framework, which is more objective, and 70% is we have the ICT driven, and 30% is the field visits, and then we also have the student satisfaction survey, and after this one is called as QNM, the other one is called as QLM. QLM is the field visit, and QNM and QLM put together, the results have been will be declared, and this is a very important thing. And you see, to have quality assurance of higher education, the administration and management in higher education is very important. This is the first step. We at NAAC, we have accredited 609 universities and 12,802 colleges till now, and higher education is influenced by many factors, such as we have the curriculum, teaching, learning, infrastructure, research, leadership, governance, students' progression, evaluation, etc. And among these, the way in which the higher education institutions administer and manages is really worthwhile knowing, because it is effective functioning is very important. In order to facilitate higher education institutions in this direction, we have planned several lecture series at the international arena, where we take up good practices from all the international accrediting agencies. Therefore, importance of administration and management in higher education is paramount to have the quality assurance of higher education. Way back from 1980 onwards, the concept of quality started spreading across the globe, and there are much variations across the globe with respect to quality education. At one end, there are very few institutions with world-class standards. On the other hand, majority average category, and rest are below the threshold level, which the respective governments across the globe are helping them. And even if it is a private university, a lot of awareness conscience has set in. Therefore, this quality movement is really important. In this context of globalization, India is doing steadfast in maintaining the educational standards. Of course, with the help of various countries, we have known the quality assurance of higher education of various countries, and we have been working towards it. And the competences required for the jobs created by the emerging technologies, reduced financial assistance. This is the most important thing, is financial assistance for the government, and cross-border educational offerings also. So, financing itself is a very big topic altogether, financing of higher education. And most of them have paid way to the increased participation of private agencies and international partners to contribute to the financial resources for institutions as well as to the government. And to have quality of management which deserves specific attention for its key relevance in affecting the higher education situation, performance, and its efficiency. Performance and efficiency is very important. And with this, one element that deserves specific attention for its key relevance in affecting the higher education institutions is performance and efficiency. Of course, there is strategically, the institution should develop institutional development planning programs, and literature on higher education is available at different the zones where strategically institutions are bound to achieve the desired results. There are, subtle difference between the administration and management. Why I am dwelling on administration and management is quality assurance of higher education depends on administration and management. For example, what is administration? when you have when a process of determining the objectives that is to be realized, whereas management, it is a process of planning the work as per the objectives laid down by administration. For example, in engineering you have the subject called as production planning and control. While you produce or manufacture, you need to know the administration and manufacturing. Then of course you have the various quality checks like statistical quality checks, etc., assurance checks. Whereas coming back to education, in administration it comes first and provides guidelines to the management and organization. In management, it comes second and follows the administration and derives strength from administration. So it prepares the framework under which one is asked to work and execute. Whereas in management, the supervises and controls the execution of the assigned work. Whereas in administration, it lays down the policies and principles. Management, naturally, it executes. Therefore, it provides direction, guidance, and leadership in administration, whereas in management, the coordination takes place in management of guidance, leadership, and administration. Whereas management is the business and service organization, is the function that coordinates the efforts of people to accomplish the respective goals and objectives. Whereas management is also an art carrying out organizational functions and tasks through people. Thereby, the quality assurance of higher education is linked, and it has a particular zone of operations. Management as a person may be seen as a person for a group of people. If it is management as a discipline, in this sense, management is a field of study with various subjects and topics. Management is thus collection of processes, including such things as decision making 1, problem solving 2, and action planning. Well, in the strategic planning, there is a subject called as operations research in engineering. Here we have the decision making, and we have the PERT chart, we have CPM, etc. Therefore, the quality assurance of higher education is paramount. Whereas management approaches, what are the different management approaches in achieving the quality assurance of higher education? It is the process of setting and achieving organizational goals through its functions, that is forecasting, organization, coordination, training, monitoring and evaluation. Administration is seen as being more supportive in the nature of service, while management is more decisive in giving directions for the development and growth. And naturally, we can expect the quality assurance in higher education. Management operates through 5 basic functions. One is the planning, organizing, coordinating, commanding, and then controlling. These are the 5 different commands. And remarkable, who is a remarkable manager in the university setup or in the college setup? A remarkable management sees the potential of others and has to sum up a series of essential features, like he should have a good mechanism of structuring, he must be creative, he must be intuitive, he must have the commitment, he should possess knowledge, he should have flexibility, he should be a bit humane also, discipline, relaxation, and overall view of all the details. Therefore, by definition, the leader of an institution or a remarkable manager is management as a continuous process, I just said, and several interrelated activities is performed by managers irrespective of their levels to achieve the desired goals. And managers use the resources of the organization, both physical as well as human, to achieve the goals. Management aims at achieving the institution goals by ensuring effective use of resources in the best interest of the society. Well, aspects of management in education: mobilization, governance, academic links with national, international, and industry bodies, private sector participation, taking adequate welfare measures for the staff and students. Thus, quality assurance of higher education has a meaning. Therefore, any organization which has to prosper needs good direction, planning and decision making and implementation. The policies and practices of an institution in matters of planning, human power require training, performance appraisal and finance management are important in this aspect. The role of leadership in the organization cannot be underestimated, since the leadership alone can gear the organization to a quality one. So, effective leadership is important in building the organizational culture by setting values and demonstrating effectiveness through participative decision making process to achieve the vision. We can go on and on, but the topic is assuring the quality assurance of higher education, the case of AQU of Catalunya. This is a wonderful series of international webinars that is going on, and I've just given a glance of what quality assurance means of higher education and what are its implications and importance with respect to administration and management in higher education. Well, I welcome the speaker, and I congratulate Dr. Ponmudi Raj, Dr. Devendra Kavde, and Shyam Singh Inda, Dr. Vinita Sahu, all my colleagues, all my dearest colleagues who have been doing yeoman service in this area. Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your words of wisdom and sharing the knowledge with us. Moving ahead, may I now humbly request Dr. Devendra Kavde, sir, Deputy Division NAAC, to please introduce the speakers of today's webinar. Dr. Devendra Kavde, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Shyam. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Thanks. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to introduce today's speaker. He is an eminent, a very well-known personality as an academician. Dr. Martí Cáceres is a professor basically in the Department of Business Management and Product Development at the University of Girona. It is in Spain. He studied industrial engineering and holds a doctorate in industrial engineering. Thus, basically, he is an industrial engineer. Since 2013, he is the director of AQU, for which he is famous for, AQU Catalunya, that is the Catalan University Quality Assurance Agency, and is the main instrument for the promotion and assurance of quality in Catalan higher education system. He is also the secretary of INQUEH's board, that is the International Network for Quality Assurance Agency in the higher education. It is a renowned agency in the world. Now, Dr. Martí is also the director of GITSAP, GITSAP, it is a consolidated research group of Government of Catalunya. He has been Vice Dean of the Polytechnic School, Vice Rector for Quality Teaching, and Vice Rector for Planning and Quality at the University of Girona. So it seems he is a multitasking person. Professor Cáceres has been also one of the international experts on the technical committee 176 of ISO, that is International Organization for Standardization, which is dedicated to the creation of new management standards. This in itself is a distinguished achievement for an academician. Friends, Dr. Martí's area of work in teaching and research basically focuses on quality management, the field in which he has published various papers in specialized magazines and journals. So while going through this brief introduction, it seems that Dr. Martí is deeply involved with the 7-letter word quality, which he has nicely elaborated in many of his research work and publication. So as explained by our director, sir, our director of NAAC, we in our NAAC also deals with the same what Dr. Martí is pursuing for. Thus, it is our pleasure to have Dr. Marty on board, who will be talking on the subject core to his heart, that is assuring the quality of higher education, the case of AQU Catalunya. Dr. Marty, we wholeheartedly welcome you with the belief that we and the participants of this webinar will be immensely benefited by your talk. Thank you very much. Over to Dr. Sham, please.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we have today with us eminent and well sought after speaker worldwide, to whom we all are very eager to listen. May I humbly request Dr. Marty Casadeias, Director AQU, Catalonia, Spain, to please enlighten us on the topic assuring the quality of higher education, the case of AQU, Catalonia. Dr. Marty, sir, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and good evening. It is really a pleasure for me to be here today. And thank you very much for NAAC to invite us to AQU Catalonia to share our experience in quality, in assuring the quality management system in higher education system in Catalonia. I will share some slides with you in order to help me in the presentation. Let me check. Is it right now?
Yeah, audio and video clear. It's clear.
Okay. So first of all, I just will let you know something about the Catalan university system. Of course, it's very, very small compared to the Indian one, but I think that basically talking about our activities and what we do and how we do it, maybe some of the things that we are working, some of our challenge could be also useful for you. So this is the main objective of my presentation, to get some ideas or something that could be useful not only for us but also for the rest. The Catalan university system, Catalonia is one region, one in Spain. It's a small region where we have 12 universities. 7 of them, they are public, 5 are private. And I think that we have a very good university system. This is very helpful for us. We have 3 of the universities among the 2020 best in the world, according to the Time Education Higher Standards rankings. We have 3 according to the Shanghai or QS. But also we have 5 among the 100 best universities under 50 years, because some of the universities, they are very new. So I think that we have a very good system. Around 225,000 students. We're just a region with 7 million of people and 22,000 graduates every year. And the majority of the students, they are going to the public universities. So they have the chance to go, I think, to a really good universities compared to Europe, for sure. Compared worldwide, it's also, I think, really good. What is AQU Catalonia? AQU Catalonia is the agency for for assuring the quality of higher education in Catalonia. They are the only ones who have the competence for working here. So we are the responsibles for the accreditation of the programs in Catalonia. We have 24 years old. We are a full member of ENQA, that's association in Europe, and ENQA, in fact, AQU was one of the oldest agencies in Europe, so has been one of the founders of ENQA and one of the founders of ECAR also. So in fact, we have been one of the first to be in these registers. And we are following 2 standards for quality management standards. 9001, it's implemented, and 27001 about information security. This is not so well known, but trying to assure that all the information that we have is, let's say, safe. This is quite important for us. We are 50 people working there. The majority of them, they are women, 74%, and the majority of them, they are technical. In fact, we have many PhD graduates. I think it's 5, 6 PhD graduates, and all of them, they have university's degree. This is our structure, and we are following the strictly the ESG, that's the European standards in guidelines. In order to be internationally recognized, and in fact in Europe is, I think it's mandatory in order to operate in around Europe, you have to undergo to an international external review based to the ESG, the European standards and guidelines. This has some principles. First of all, is that the higher education institutions are the main agent in charge of the quality of the students, of the studies, sorry. It's very important about the transparency. I will talk something else about that later on. About the accountability, everything that we done, it's very, very, very transparent and it's public. I will show you how we try to do it. And institutions must to be able to demonstrate their quality both in national and international level. In fact, being accredited by ENQA according to this ESG, that's what we need in order to accredit our programs in Catalonia. But we have also member of INQUAGE from 1998, just from the beginning. Now INQUAGE will have 30 years this year, sorry. And we have been aligned also to the GGP from INQUAGE from 2019. So GGP is different standards, but quite similar to the ESG, the standards that we are implementing in Europe. And from 2013, we are the secretariat, we host the secretariat of INQUAGE, and right now, from this year, we are the permanent secretariat. So the permanent secretariat from INQUAGE will be, well, not forever, but for the next years, in a long term, it will be in Barcelona, in Spain, where we are located. Which are our activities? I would like to just to give a show of which are the three main activities. Well, we have, in fact, 6 main activities, but I will just talk about 3 of them and how these activities, they are linked to the accounting or linked to the transparency. First of all, it's about program accreditation. That's what the majority of the agencies worldwide they are doing, like in NAAC, how we do program accreditation or institutional accreditation. Second one, it's about assessment of teaching and research staff. This is very special and it's not only in Spain, Italy, and some places agencies are working on this second subject. And third one is about creating knowledge for helping universities to improve. I will try to discuss the 3 points, because I think that some of them could be useful from some of the people who are listening today here. So let's go for the first one, this program accreditation. That's the standard that in any agency in the world is doing. We have this process. This is a complicated process, but for evaluating bachelor's, master's, and PhD. Basically, we have a first validation. All the programs that has to be launched in Catalonia, first of all, they have to be validated by the agency. That's what we call verification. So that means that this is a desk review. So the universities send his programs to the agency and will have to evaluate if it's right or if it's wrong. If it is wrong, the program cannot start, is stopped, and there is no way that go further. So what will we evaluate here? Well, we evaluate the building, the learning objective, the professors, whatever, before starting the program. Then there is the monitoring. There's usually every second year, and this is because the programs that during the validation they have some problems. For example, if the building is not ready, if the teachings they are still not, still have a contract. So we have to monitor this program every second year. And finally, after 6 years, usually, the programs get the accreditation. That's the typical on-site visit, when we can accredit this program. If they are not accredited, they cannot follow up, so they cannot go on. They have to go over, that's finished. But if they are, and the objective is to be accredited. We have to visit all the programs in Catalonia, one by one, and it's around 1,500 programs, considering bachelor's, master's, and PhD, because it's the same system for the three categories. And after the accreditation can have 4 results. Could be excellent, could be good, could be with conditions, and could be not accredited. Excellent, we have around 10% of the programs, they are excellent. And we get this level, a special level, and they can use in their websites, in their advertising, and they are using a lot. Honestly, they are very worried in order to show to all the students that they are excellent. This is the main objective of all the programs in Catalonia. Good, there are around maybe 50% of the programs, they are good. Then 30% they are not, they are on conditions. If they are on conditions, they can fall, but they need to have some kind of conditions about professors, technical staff, or whatever. And if they are not accredited, sometimes around 5%, 10%, they must close. So they must close the program. The program cannot go further. These are the criteria. The criteria, they are very, very aligned to the criteria of EAG. Basically, when we evaluate one program, we analyze the quality of the study program. So basically, what they are teaching there. Second is the relevance of the public information. We are careful that all the information is right. Third, the internal quality management system. It's mandatory to have an internal quality management system with surveys, whatever, to improve the program. 4 is the teaching staff, the quality of the teaching staff. 5, the learning support systems. That means the laboratory, the computers, the building, the library, whatever. And 6, the learning outcomes. This is the more important. In fact, in order to be excellent, they have to be very, very good in the number 4 and number 6. They have to be a very good teaching staff. And 6, they have to assure that the learning outcomes are achieved. So they have to show how the students that they have studied something, finally they know about that, and the exams are good, and the final project, they are good. This is very important. So for number 4 and 6, they are the main one in order to be excellent. And also, they are the main one in order to be not accredited. If the teaching is not good and the learning outcomes, they are not good, there are a lot of changes to be not accredited. Then we have 3 additional dimensions that they give us another level about professional development and recruitment. So that means programs that we have in Spain, Catalonia, they are very good for being recruitment, for employability, basically. For example, nursing. Nursing is a program that everyone who study that will get a lot of work. This is very good. Second one is about the good interaction between research and teaching. This is basically for master's degree. The best master's degree has this additional level. And the third one is internationalization. This is for programs that are teaching in English with a lot of people coming from abroad and with a great impact on the internationalization of the system. This used to be for the PhD, but not always. Also for the masters. In each evaluation, of course, we are identifying good practices and enhancement proposals. This is mandatory, and this is our objective. Then, once we get 50% of the programs approved, and you have the quality management system certified, you get what we call the initial institutional accreditation. So instead, for the next time, instead of going program by program, we are going faculty by faculty. That means that instead of evaluating 1,500 programs, we have to evaluate 150 faculties or centers. Then this is the way to go from the program accreditation to the institutional accreditation. Right now, only 10% of the institutions in Catalonia, they are evaluating using the institutional accreditation. But it's our objective that in 4 or 5 years, all of them will be allowed to bid for institutional accreditation. So to evaluate, we're having trust with them. So we are going directly to institutional accreditation. The difference is that we'll evaluate only faculties, only other objectives, and it's going to be easy for them. less bureaucratic for them, also less bureaucratic for us, but at the same time assuring the same level of quality. This is very important for us, and we cannot cross this red line to assure the quality of these programs. We have some reference for online programs, especially that was before the pandemic. The reference, they are first of all the EAG, but also the consideration of quality assurance of ENQA, this e-learning provision. Also the reference from a project that AQU and ENQA have been participated about a framework for e-assessment. Also our own reference, but all this reference, all this has been put in practice this year because of the pandemic, because you have to change how we do the visits right away. So basically, and the pandemic starts in Europe or in Spain, it stopped everything 1 year ago in March, in fact 11 months ago. We start a period of emergency and we define a exceptional period that it's from then until the end of this year, the end of 2021. So from this period, everything will be online. We are working from home, everyone, but all the visits, they are online. So we have a special protocol for how to do these visits online, and a special rules. We changed the procedures. We also changed the time limits because the universities right now can apply in different periods. It's more continuous than it was before. We changed the meetings. The review committee has to meeting everything online, and all the process has been implemented in remote procedures. We are very lucky because 2 months ago, in January 2020, we finished a project that calls zero papers. So in fact, in the agency, we don't use any paper at all for anything. That's finished. Everything is on the computer at all. We don't use never. You cannot apply for anything, any document with paper. So in this adaptation to accreditation to online visits, well, we have two main principles. It's the same, the EAG. It's the higher educations are the primarily responsible for the quality. This is clear. And the main goal for us, the main goal is to ensure the acquisition of learning outcomes. This is the more important thing. How we assure that the students learn what is expected to learn. Even in this period of alarm, exceptionality of COVID, whatever, we have to ensure that this is the only objective. So we have to change the standards. We have different standards for access, for teaching methodology and evaluation. So we allow different things of ways of evaluation. The public information, for example, it has to be clear in the public information, which is the regular way of assessing the students, but also which is the way of assessing the students if they are not able to go home or to go to the university, so if they have to work from home. The resources and student support, the standard practices, how they have to do it, the final project, and how to communicate the adaptations for the agency for the future review process. So in fact, we are trying to do the same standards, but adapted to this online visits and online teaching system. We are just doing online visits for the centers that have been visited before. If the center has not been visited before, it's a new center with a new lab, whatever, then it's not possible to do online visit. We have to go there, at least to see the facilities, the premises. We're changing the way of working. So instead of doing 1 day or 2 days, we're working, splitting in sessions of half a day, because this is very, very tiring and boring to stay 8 hours in front of the computer. So we prefer to stay 4 hours today and 4 hours tomorrow. We are limiting the interviews on the participation to 5-8 people in order to not to be chaotic during the meeting. Peers should distribute their direct participation during the interviews. So we don't need that all the peers they are in all the meetings, so we can split this better. We are being very, very drastic with the timeline between each session, and we are not recording the sessions as the same that was before in the regular on-site visit. In the online visit, we are not able, well, we don't want to record the visits. How many centers we are evaluating yearly? Approximately, this is from 2019, but this is more or less what we are doing every year. 150 bachelors, 300 masters, 70 PhD. So we have around 500 programs that they are not 500 visits, because some of the programs they are evaluating at the same time. So these 500 programs maybe links to 200 visits, something like that. It depends. And we are visiting 100 faculties and schools. This is more or less our numbers. All of them right now and until the end of 2021, it's going to be at minimum, it's going to be online. Even if in September, this is our expectations in Spain, if September the universities starts to work, let's say normally, we'll wait half a year until December to start to doing on-site visits. We don't want to get any kind of risk for any kind of students, evaluators, and anyone who's participated in this system. This is the first objective, program accreditation, but I also would like to talk about the two other main challenge of our agency. Second one is assessment of teaching and research staff. I know that this is very special, but it's only probably in some countries, but I think that maybe it could be useful for some of you. I don't know. The objective of this division of AQU Catalunya is that we are, for law, we have to evaluate every single people who want to be a lecturer, a professor, or a full professor at the universities in Catalonia. If they don't have our accreditation, they cannot work at the university in Catalonia. So there are 3 steps. Once you get the PhD, you can apply for to be accredited as lecturer. If you don't get this accreditation, you will not work never at the universities in Catalonia. Once you get the lecture, some years later, you can go for associate professor, and some years later for full professor. It's mandatory to have these accreditations. These accreditations, they are only basic on research, not on teaching, only research. The teaching will be evaluated by the university, we are the ones responsible for evaluating the research. Once you are working at the university, then we also need to evaluate the teaching, the research, and the management. In fact, the teaching, every 5 years, we need to evaluate the teaching of the professors of every individual. The research is every 6 years, and the management is, well, it's quite different, but it's every 4, something like that. So we have, let's say, the control of everyone who will teach at the university. And one is there, we have also the control and the evaluation of what is they doing there. So teaching and research. And additionally, we are starting a new project, that is the last one here. We have, you can check it on the website, is the research assessment of the university's departments. So it's only about which research that universities are doing. We sync the Declaration of Research Assessment, that's called DORA, this was synced in San Francisco. And these principles is that there is a general recommendation that not to use journal-based metrics, such as journal impact factors. So basically, what we're trying to work is to see the research, not focusing on the metrics, but focusing on the content of this research. This is very difficult because you have a lot of evaluations, and it's more easy to look at the metrics, but this is our objective for the future. So we need to eliminate the use of journal-based metrics, such as journal impact factors, and we need to assess the research on its own merits rather than on the basis of the journal. So just to read the article or just to see which is the impact of these articles. So in order to get some numbers, every year we evaluate around 1,500 lectures, 500 professors, and 400 full professors. That means around 2,500 people who would like to work at the university. So, and the people who are already working, we are evaluating 3,000. So in summary, we are around 5,000 evaluated every single year of people who likes to go to university or people who likes to evaluate the merits that have been working. All this work, is a desk review. So they just send the curriculum to our commissions, commissions they are evaluating. We are not having visits, we are not having anything. During the pandemic, the work is exactly the same that it was before. They just send it by email, and that's all. And the third activity, and the last one, is knowledge generation. We have let's say, a division who works just to gathering a lot of information in order to improve the universities. This information, we have basically three main surveys. The first one is the survey of labor market outcomes and graduates. We survey every 3 years, around 25,000 students who has been graduated in all the universities in Catalonia, all of them, public and private, and we ask them about where they're working, which is the quality of their work, and especially which is how will they improve the programs that they have been studying before. So this is very, very important. It's very expensive, to tell you the truth, because it's a phone survey that it takes 25 minutes, but we get very good information about how to improve the programs, because we're looking information program by program. So we like to compare how to study this program in one university compared to another program in another university. The second one is the employer survey. We are employing surveys. For example, this year we have survey around 500 schools in Catalonia. Well, doesn't matter. 500 schools in Catalonia in order to know what they think about the people that graduate from the university to study, to work in these schools. So we are studying specifically the employer. This is a very difficult survey. It brings us a lot of problems, but they have a very interesting results. And the third one is the graduate satisfaction survey. Every single graduate after the university, the day that they finish the university, we also send a survey in order to get the information about the satisfaction. All these surveys, they are exactly the same for all the programs, all the programs, public and private in Catalonia. This is very good because we can compare everything for each program, if compared with the programs similar to them. So we can compare, I don't know, biology in the University of Barcelona compared with biology in the University of Girona, in order to see which are the graduates, which are the employees, with that satisfaction and whatever. The survey is exactly the same. This information that we're gathering, we are working on them, and then we send individually to each of the universities in order to improve the system. In order to have one idea of numbers, in 2019, for instance, we developed 7 workshops analyzing this data, 51 presentations in different universities, 20 publications. Publications, for example, the employees in pharmacy, which is the opinion of the employers in biology, in law. We are participating in 3 international projects, and we are collecting directly 10,000 data every year, more or less, so approximately. But it depends on the year, because, for instance, this year we have collected 25,000 data. It depends. And final, I would like to talk just 5 minutes before finishing my time about transparency. All the data that we recollect, for us, it's very, very, very important to be accountant and to be very, very, very transparent. This is our leitmotif, that we're trying to do our best. So we have a very nice website, maybe similar to the ones that you have already, that you can access. This studies AQU.cat. You can access in English. You can access through the mobile, and you can check for each program that we have in Catalonia the information related for the students and parents. Let's say for the society. This is very simple. It's free. You enter, and it's totally open. For example, well, sorry. Oh, I forget one of the. Well, sorry, I forget one of the slides. But you enter here, you can see very clear all the data that we have. First of all, you will see very easily if this program is accredited with excellent or not. You will see then all the data that we have from this program. For instance, the survey, what is the employees that are going to or for instance, this, just to be clear, how is the transfer? There is one question that said, if you would you like to study again to the same program? And the people respond, and the responses are totally transparent. So people can see before choosing the study if they are more satisfaction in this program or another program similar to another university. So, and this is totally even how much money they will earn after this program, how much time they will spend looking for job, if they are working in the same studies that they would like to work, all the data. So we have two options. One option is the simple data. They are the 50 indicators that any student would like to know before studying. And then there is the more complicated data that they are only access for the universities, that they have to log in there and they have access to a specific data where they can compare their data with the rest of the universities. So this is private, this is not public, but it's totally transparent. Also, they can download the reports of each reports of their programs, but also the report from the other universities to see which is better. So we are trying to work hard to be very transparent in order basically to improve the system. It's nothing else but to improve the system. The only thing that we don't have is information, because it's forbidden, particular of each person. You cannot find which is the accreditation of the teaching of one person, one individual. This is totally forbidden. But you can find the information of each one of the programs in Catalonia. So thank you very much. I think that I'm on time, and I'm available if you would like to have any kind of questions or whatever you need. Let me check how to doesn't share the. Okay, all right. Did I stop sharing? Did I stop sharing? I think so.
Yeah, it is unshared. So I would like to request the participants, if you require to ask any questions, you may raise your hands option, which is available in your application, using which we will be able to unmute you and you can ask a question. Yeah, there is one raised hands, Jagannath Patil, Dr. Jagannath Patil. Sir, you may go ahead.
Can you just show my video? I want to just say hi to Marty.
Yeah.
Hi, GP.
Hi, dear. One minute.
I cannot see you. Hi, GP. Nice to see you. Nice to see you in India.
Hi, Marty.
Hi, nice to see you.
Good
And
to see you.
a big hug.
After a long time.
Yeah.
A nice presentation. I have heard all those things earlier also. So I was just watching, and I know that there are many things that are really useful. Particularly, I was thinking maybe for the general people, the various types of surveys that you conduct.
Yeah.
The employer survey and all other surveys. Perhaps I don't know whether I missed it or you have missed it. I know that you have a very good practice of teacher evaluation.
Yeah.
So that teacher evaluation, if you can share a bit, it will be very challenging in India to start that things. But because I know Spain is also a very vibrant community. So how this teacher evaluation is conducted, and what is the whether it is useful for the general accreditation system, our higher education system, whether there is any connection between these two. If you can explain that, that would be really useful.
Yeah, all the surveys that we are developing, all of them, we have a committee with all the universities. So first of all, we are working with all of them to define the surveys. In order that finally we have to agree that the survey will be the same for all of them. Okay, this is very important. Then when we agree with that, it's public on our website. So if you like some of these surveys, they are on the website, but we can contact me and I will send you with no problem at all. Everything it's public. Then there is agreement with all the universities, but for example, the one about teaching universities, that all the universities will use the same survey, and they have two possibilities. One of the possibilities is that they lead the survey using their process, okay? They can, or the other possibility is that we lead the agency, we lead the system using. So if we lead, they have to send us the addresses, the email addresses of all the students, and we send by email. If they lead, they can do it, but they have to fill some Excel files, and then we mix all together. So we are the ones who are managing all together, and we have the reports, and we send the reports to universities. To each university, it's public, their results, but the more important thing is that with that their universities, they can use the comparison between the universities. Then we have a system, a statistical system, which each program, they have a color. It's red, yellow, and green. Red, if it's much worse than the rest of the universities in Catalonia. Yellow, it's on the media, and green is if very, very good. So we send this document. So basically, in summary, they are recollecting the data. We are helping on that, and we are managing all the data to give again to them. If you like to have the survey or also the employee surveys, whatever is the survey, we can send it to you without no problem at all. It's just send an email to me, and I will send you what you can use, because maybe it's similar.
So gracias, Mati, and congratulations once again on your permanent secretariat. I will catch up with you later. I just got to go.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope
Give
to
my
see you soon.
regards to Conchita and all the others.
Thank you very much. I will tell them. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Samuel, next question.
Dr. Gakul. Okay. Dr. Gakul. K. Chitra, you have been unmuted.
Good evening, Dr. Marty. That was an excellent presentation. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Yeah, sir, that was a good presentation. My question to you is, see, there are various kind of institutions. Some are in India, of course, we have various kind of institutions. Some are funded by the government, some are self-financing, some are autonomous, non-autonomous. It's a very diverse system. Now, we do have our NAAC has different assessment criteria for self-financing, autonomous, affiliated, and all. There is a different criteria. Does it happen like that in your part of the country? Because you cannot compare apples with oranges. So different parts of the country, the local requirement might be different, the accessibility might be different, the type of students registering could be very different from those who are registering in some other developed part. So can you throw some light on it? Thank you very much. Over to you.
Yes. Well, in our case, the standards and the process is exactly the same for all of them. Doesn't matter which is the institution. And this is about accreditation, exactly the same. There is no difference at all. In fact, the private university, we have just public institutions and two private. The private institutions, they are institutions related to let's say, religion. They are not for business. They are not just for making money. So that leads that the only thing that is not mandatory for the private institutions is the evaluation of the teachers, of the professors. This is mandatory just for the public institutions. But however, although it's not mandatory, they're also using the same system. So they say, okay, we like to be exactly the same, and they are following exactly the same rules that the rest. So for us, no differentiation at all in anything, exactly the same. I don't know if I help you so much. But...
Thank you, Dr. Martin.
Samuel in chat.
Yes, sir. Pushalakshmi is here, sir, representing Samuel, sir. As of now,
Yeah.
I can see any question, any hands raised, sir.
In Q&A. Anything on Q&A? Dr. BS, there's one question that is related to within the CBCS system. We will handle it. Shaki has raised. Anything else? Otherwise, over to Shyam Singh Inda or Dr. Kavde.
Okay, in the meanwhile, I have one query. While explaining, Dr. Marti has very nicely presented. One query in that third slide, I found that is related to the institutional quality. You talked about validation, monitoring, and accreditation. So, Marti, what you do in case of monitoring part? Can you just elaborate it? Monitoring.
Sorry, what do you mean monitoring? I cannot understand. Sorry, what do you mean about?
See, in that slide, I found 3 contents in that institutional quality. One was validation, second was monitoring, and third was accreditation. This validation accreditation is very nice. Accreditation you explained nicely. This monitoring, what are the things you do in monitoring part? Is how elaborative it is.
Yeah, sorry. The monitoring is the 90% of the cases is online, so we don't have a visit. So we are just receiving some data that they are sending to us. We ask for some data. For example, how many professors do you have, or whatever. There's some kind of relation desk review. But sometimes we also have a visit. Not very usual. So when there is a problems with premises, for instance, there is no lab or there is a need for a lab, then we have a visit also for this monitoring. This is not very normal, but sometimes we have. We also have monitoring when, I told you before that the universities would like to be excellent. This is our best prize. Sometimes there are universities, they are not excellent, but they want to be excellent. So we tell them, okay, if you want to be excellent, maybe we can come in 2 years. If you have made this change, we'll give you the excellent. So sometimes it's a second opportunity, second chance for getting this excellence. But usually it's not for that. Usually it's for the universities that have conditions. Something is wrong and we have to go every second year. So we used to go the second, the fourth, and the sixth year. This is the normal process of monitoring that we have.
Yeah, so your whole process is subjective in nature, am I right?
Yeah.
So you have also shared with on-site visit concept you have talked about, and there you were saying that only interviews are conducted. There is no visit to the departments or likewise?
Visits to the departments. Usually there is no visit on the departments, or there is only visit on the accreditation process. On the accreditation. Usually on the monitor, it's just desk review. We don't analyze specific departments. Keep in mind that we are very focused on the learning object, learning outcomes. We're focusing on what the students learn more than the teaching. Is the main.
Good. Appreciable, Dr. Marti. Even your website is also, and your app in that mobile also, it was fine. We tried it, making it possible. It's working so nice, appreciable. So many thanks. So, Dr. BSP, over to you, please.
Oh, thank you, Marty. I think if the questions are more or less, the presentation was crystal clear, 3 points, and the 3 points was beautifully elaborated. So I think the vote of thanks, proposal of gratitude should be by Dr. Mrs. Vinita Sahu. Over to Inda Saab, please. Shamsing Inda is not there, so Vinita Sahu? Oh, Vinita, okay. Suddenly, we have some other things. So we, on behalf of Professor S.C. Sharma, Director, our international team, Dr. Devendra Kavde, Deputy Advisor, Dr. Mrs. Vinita Sahu, Assistant Advisor, Dr. Shyam Singh Inda, Assistant Advisor, and our ICT team, Professor Ramya Kumar Rath, our host, and Dr. Samuel Lurdraj, Mr. Samuel Lurdraj, Sri, System Analyst. I thank all the people on live through YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, as well as in our platform. And thank you, Dr. Marty. We look forward for future cooperations for the wonderful presentation, especially on the university system and accreditation, and specifically on the program accreditation.
Thank you very
Dr.
much.
Marty. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
It has been a pleasure for me.
Thank you, one and all.
Thanks, Dr. Marty.
Thank you.
Samuel, you can close it. Thank you, Dr. Samuel.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We are closing the session.
Yeah. Pushya, I can close it, Pushya.
Yes, sir.